I have a range of power passing splitters that are available for sale on the tvtrade.ie website. Basically, these power passer splitters are used to split a TV aerial signal and run it to multiple rooms. So basically on this simple one here, we have 1 in and 2 out. We have a 3 output here, 4 outputs, 6 outputs and 8 outputs here. So we can, if we had a UHF aerial for instance on a roof, similar to this UHF aerial here, we could feed up to 8 separate televisions with it. Okay, the key points that we need to realise with this power passing splitter is that, first of all, we'll look at the range that it can cover. It can cover a huge range here from 5 all the way up to 2300 megahertz. And the other thing to realise, it power passes on just one leg. And the idea of this is that if we have an aerial such as I've just displayed, which has a mass and amplifier and a power unit, we can have a power unit on this end and a mass amplifier underneath the aerial on the other one. And what it'll allow is, it'll allow a 12 volt signal from the power unit to pass through the splitter up to the mass and amplifier, which will then amplify the aerial and pull in a strong signal for us. Okay, so it's just on the one leg that this is happening. So I'm going to look now is at the power unit itself here, okay, and how we want to fit this into a loop. So what we have here is we have a power unit here that's feeding a cable directly from here to a mass and amplifier and all the way up to this UHF aerial. And in between here we make a decision that we'd like to split this off to an additional room. Well, what I'll do here is, on the output here with the power passing arm shown on it, I'll actually connect in this F connector here. Okay, and on the output part here, or the in part coming from the UHF aerial, so this means now that when I have this implemented, what we can actually achieve is that the power is still flowing up to the mass and amplifier, but we can now spur off to a second room. And we'll say if we were using a 6 or an 8 way here, we can feed it off to a total of 6 or 8 rooms using this one system, okay? Now let's look at the alternative and the different types of splitters that we could use as an alternative to this. We have here something like a passive splitter. So the key points about this is it has a much lower frequency range. It simply goes from 5 up to 1000 megahertz, and it's not power passing. And it means that if we try to put a power or a passive splitter in the loop here in between a power unit and a mass amplifier, it'll actually completely kill the signal on all televisions, okay? But interestingly, we could put this passive splitter in after the power unit and then it'll work fine, okay? So that's the first thing. And the other thing we could do is, instead of using mass amplifiers and power passing splitters, etc., we could use something like a power distribution system here, which would simply boost the signal that's come in, okay? Now, from a technical, so this one here has a single input, or a UHF input and 4 outputs, and this would have a UHF input and also 8 outputs, we'll say, and it's part of a wider range of distribution things. Now, from a technical perspective, mass and amplifiers, power units, and power passing splitters are actually a better solution, because what they're actually doing is allowing us that instead of boosting the signal that's there, it's actually amplifying the aerial, so you're pulling in a stronger signal and you'll actually get better technical results, although it's slightly technically more complicated. Because the Sairview signal in Ireland is so strong, most places don't need power passing, or don't need we'll say for a single room to have it powered and amplified. But if you want to go for multiple rooms, certainly more than 2 rooms, you probably will want to go for some type of application, either using this or a power passing splitter in conjunction with a mass amplifier and power unit. So that's a fairly comprehensive overview of power passing splitters that are available on the tvtrade.ie website.